offense. They got a lot of chances. Defense played really good in the first half, and they got a good defense. We had a lot of opportunities.
He was useless. That is what the NFL world watched on January 12, 2026, when Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers got completely demolished by the Houston Texans 30-6 in the wildcard round. This wasn't just a bad game. This was the night one of football's greatest legends finally ran out of magic. This was a performance so inept, so lacking in any kind of competence, that it triggered a chorus of condemnation from the absolute pantheon of NFL legends. Drop some hype if you think Rodgers' time might be over. The Steelers took a massive gamble in 2025 by signing Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback who was already 42 years old. It was supposed to be his last chance to prove he could win outside Green Bay and away from the frustration he felt in New York. For a moment, it actually looked like the experiment might work. The Steelers finished 10-7 and won the AFC North Division title. Rodgers had somehow made it look possible that an aging legend could still summon magic in the playoffs. But beneath the surface, things were falling apart. His physical abilities were declining. He relied too heavily on DK Metcalf. The entire team was frustrated with the situation. Nobody wanted to say it out loud, but everyone could see the cracks forming. Then January 12, 2026 arrived. The Steelers faced the Texans in the wildcard game. What happened that night destroyed the Aaron Rodgers mythos forever. The Texans dominated completely. The final score was 30-6. He completed 17 of 33 passes for 146 yards. That was the worst playoff performance of his entire career. He threw no touchdowns. He threw one interception, a pick six returned for a touchdown. He got sacked 4 times. Then Tomlin benched him for Mason Rudolph. Hall of Famers don't get benched in the playoffs, but there was Aaron Rodgers on the sideline in a parka watching someone else finish his story. The loss triggered criticism from the highest levels of NFL authority. This wasn't random anger or casual criticism. This was legends of the game looking at what happened and having strong opinions about why it was so bad. 5 of the most respected voices in football stepped up with their verdicts. Each one saw something different. Each one had a reason to be frustrated. Together, they painted a picture of a quarterback who had become a shell of himself, a player whose arrogance had finally caught up with him, and a moment that would define the end of an era. These weren't just casual observations. These were detailed, visceral critiques from people who understood the game at the highest level. Number 5 on our list is Tom Brady. Yes, the Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. The man with 7 Super Bowl rings. The man who knows more about winning in January than anyone alive. Brady looked at what Rodgers did and applied what people called the Brady standard. To win championships, you need championship habits. You need to prepare every single day. You need to care about every detail. You need to show up in the offseason and build chemistry with your teammates through work and dedication. Brady's critique was that Rodgers tried to win on talent alone. He skipped offseason programs. He lived a free lifestyle away from football. He didn't do the daily work required to be great. When pressure came against Houston, everything fell apart. Brady pointed to the failure to cash in on early opportunities. The Steelers' defense gave Rodgers good field position. They forced turnovers, but Rodgers couldn't finish. He kicked field goals instead of touchdowns, 3 points instead of 7. This is the cardinal sin of playoff football according to Brady. You have to step on your opponent's throat. You can't let them hang around. Brady saw a quarterback who didn't understand this fundamental truth. The Steelers' defense played well enough to win. They gave Rodgers multiple chances. He responded with 146 yards and a pick six. This is what happens when you don't prepare. This is what happens when you think talent is enough. Brady didn't yell about it, he just stated facts. But the disdain was clear and unmistakable. This was the greatest ever finding another great lazy and unprepared. This was professional judgment that Rodgers had forgotten how to compete at the highest level. Number 4 is Joe Buck. Joe Buck is the voice of the NFL. When the biggest moments happen, he narrates them. He describes history as it unfolds. On January 12, 2026, Joe Buck watched Aaron Rodgers' story come to an end, and he called it a horror story. This word choice matters tremendously. Rodgers' career was supposed to be an epic. It was supposed to be a legend's final stand. Instead, it turned into a horror film where everything that could go wrong actually did go wrong. Buck focused heavily on the word ignominy. Ignominy means public disgrace and dishonor. When Mike Tomlin benched Rodgers with minutes left in the game, Buck understood the weight of that moment. Hall of Famers do not get benched in the playoffs. They go down fighting. But Rodgers got pulled. He became the image of a legend stripped of his dignity. Buck highlighted this sideline moment over and over. Rodgers in a parka, watching Mason Rudolph, watching someone else play quarterback. This would be the lasting image of the entire 2026 season. Not a hero's farewell, just a benching. Buck's commentary was the recognition that this moment would define Rodgers' entire legacy more than anything he had accomplished in his career. One image replaced decades of achievement. Buck also talked about what he saw on the sideline throughout the game. Rodgers was visibly frustrated. He was yelling at coaches and teammates. Buck contrasted this with C.J. Stroud, the Texans' rookie quarterback. Stroud was composed. Stroud was calm. Stroud was hungry. The juxtaposition made Rodgers look petulant and weak. It made him look like a bad teammate. The new generation was hungry and humble. The old generation was frustrated and arrogant. Buck showed that Rodgers handled adversity poorly, adding to the ignominy of his defeat. The contrast was unmistakable to anyone watching. One quarterback was graceful in success. One was graceless in failure. Number 3 is Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark played safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He understands the franchise's DNA better than almost anyone. The Steelers are built on defense and toughness. They are built on a team-first mentality. So when Ryan Clark looked at what Rodgers did in Houston, he saw betrayal. He saw a selfish distortion of what the Steelers are supposed to represent. Clark's main critique was the dink and dunk offense that Rodgers ran. Short, safe passes, checkdowns, screens. This is designed to protect weak quarterbacks or weak offensive lines. But Rodgers is famous for arm talent and deep ball accuracy. He has no business playing dink and dunk. Yet that's what he did. He averaged only 4.4 yards per attempt. His career playoff average was 7.5, a massive drop. He allowed Houston's defense to compress the field. They didn't respect the deep ball. They sacked him 4 times. This was cowardly football from a quarterback who was supposed to be great. The Steelers' defense did their job. They held Houston to 7 points in the first half. They forced turnovers. They gave Rodgers short fields. They did everything right. Rodgers responded with 146 yards and a pick 6. The defense was constantly back on the field, exhausted. This is the betrayal Clark saw. The defense gave Rodgers chances to win. He wasted them all. From Clark's perspective, this wasn't just a bad game. It was a betrayal of teammates who had done everything right. Clark also pointed out something specific that bothered him. Rodgers had tunnel vision for DK Metcalf. He refused to trust other receivers. If Metcalf wasn't open, Rodgers took a sack or checked down. Houston knew this. They double-teamed Metcalf. The entire offense shut down. The Steelers had other weapons. Rodgers wouldn't use them. This is not what a legend does. A legend elevates everyone around him. A legend spreads the ball. A legend creates opportunities for his teammates. Number 2 is Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe took things to a personal level. His critique wasn't just about football mechanics. It was about character. It was about who Aaron Rodgers is as a person. Sharpe said Rodgers had become the very thing he despised. This is a comparison to Brett Favre. Early in his career, Rodgers was stuck behind Brett Favre. Favre wouldn't retire. He held the team hostage with indecision. Rodgers hated this. He despised Favre for the drama and selfishness. But Rodgers has now done exactly the same thing. He does the will I or won't I retirement dance every year. It's held multiple franchises hostage. The Packers, the Jets, the Steelers. He's bounced from team to team chasing a ring. His career is ending with a humiliating playoff loss and an interception on his final throw. Just like Favre, the symmetry was undeniable to anyone paying attention. Sharpe called this karma, cosmic justice. Rodgers criticized Favre for not knowing when to quit, and then he fell into the exact same trap. Sharpe attacked Rodgers' character directly. He said Rodgers was arrogant and flippant. Throughout his career, Rodgers dismissed valid criticism as noise. He said critics were a woke mob. He acted like he was above the system. He acted like failures were everyone else's fault. After the game, Rodgers talked about missed opportunities by the team. He didn't take responsibility. There was no accountability, no humility, no recognition of his own failure. Sharpe's critique was a demand for humility. He believed Rodgers never had it. The pick 6 was justice. It was karma catching up. Number 1 is Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman is a Hall of Fame quarterback. His career was shortened by concussions. He knows what physical decline looks like. He knows the pain of watching your body betray you. When Troy Aikman looked at Aaron Rodgers against Houston, he saw a 42-year-old body that could no longer play the game. Aikman used the word sobering. It means a sudden return to harsh reality. Throughout 2025, people believed in the Rodgers experiment. He led the team to 10 wins and a division title. The narrative was that he could still summon magic, but Houston happened. Suddenly, everyone saw the truth. Rodgers looked every bit of his 42 years. This wasn't a bad day. This was reality catching up with a legend who thought he was above the natural order of aging. Aikman highlighted the lack of mobility. In his prime, Rodgers could escape the pocket and create, but at 42, he couldn't. When Houston applied pressure, Rodgers had nowhere to go. He couldn't scramble. He couldn't buy time. He became a stationary target. When Metcalf wasn't open, Rodgers crumbled under the rush. Aikman called the statistics ugly. 146 passing yards. That's below what what you need to be effective. Falling below 150 yards in a playoff game is an indictment of your abilities. Rodgers was restricted to 17 completions on 33 attempts. He wasn't throwing past the first down marker. He was checking down constantly. He was afraid, but this fear led to the very mistakes that lost the game. The fumble, the interception, the timidity became his undoing. Aikman suggested this might be Rodgers' last game. He drew a parallel to Philip Rivers. Rivers went to Indianapolis for one final year. He clearly didn't have the arm strength to win a Super Bowl. Aikman saw the same arc with Rodgers, a legend trying to outrun time, only to get caught in a wild card blowout. So what does all this mean? 5 legends, 5 different critiques, all pointing to the same conclusion. Troy Aikman saw a body that could no longer perform. Shannon Sharpe saw a spirit corrupted by ego. Ryan Clark saw a mind refusing to trust teammates. Joe Buck saw a narrative ending in humiliation. Tom Brady saw a player forgetting how to compete. Together, these 5 critiques explain the intensity of the backlash. It's not just that Rodgers lost, it's how he lost. It's what the loss revealed about who he really is. It's the betrayal of talent through arrogance. It's the exhaustion with genius narrative. C.J. Stroud and Houston represented the new NFL. Fast, humble, hungry. Rodgers represented the old guard. Slow, entitled, the 146 yards, the 0 touchdowns, the 1 pick 6, the benching. These are the facts of January 12, 2026. But the legacy isn't just numbers. It's the condemnation from the legends. It's respect turning to disappointment. It's the myth cracking under its own weight. Aaron Rodgers entered the 2026 playoffs as a living legend. He left as a cautionary tale. The Steelers' defense did their job. They held Houston to 6 points, but Rodgers couldn't finish. He couldn't deliver. When it was over, he didn't leave on his own terms. He got benched. He got pulled like an underperforming backup. This is the ending he wrote for himself. Maybe this isn't the absolute end, but if this is the end, if January 12th, 2026 is his final game, then it's the ending he deserves. Not because he's bad, not because he wasn't talented, but because he forgot what it takes to be great. He forgot that talent isn't enough. He forgot that humility matters. He forgot that leadership means elevating everyone around you, not just your favorite weapon. He forgot that championships are won through preparation and discipline, not through arrogance and shortcuts. This is what the legends were saying. This is why they came down so hard. This wasn't hate in the traditional sense. This was disappointment. This was the frustration of people who knew better, seeing someone throw it away, seeing someone squander their talent, seeing someone become the villain in their own story. Aaron Rodgers was useless on January 12th, 2026, not because he had no talent, but because he refused to use it right. He refused to prepare. He refused to trust his team. He refused to take responsibility. He refused to be humble. The legends made sure everyone knew it. His legacy won't be his arm talent. It will be this night, this game, this loss. That's the lesson the new generation needs to see. Talent without preparation is useless. Arrogance without results is just arrogance. The only thing that lasts forever is how you handle yourself when everything falls apart. On January 12th, 2026, Aaron Rodgers failed that test. Was this the night Rodgers' legacy finally caught up to him? Let us know in the comments and give this video some hype if you think it's time for the NFL to move on.